It's always a good time when it's Matt Norlander season here at CBS Sports HQ. Good to see you, Matt. Let's start with that game right there. Kentucky dropping the game to UNC. They got Gonzaga next on the schedule. How do you turn the page here?
Great question. To me, the most significant outcome on a really awesome Tuesday night in college basketball was Kentucky's loss. So credit to Carolina for getting that win. Gary Parrish and I gave the Tar Heels plenty of love on our Wednesday AM edition of the Eye on College Basketball podcast. But for here and now on HQ, got to talk about Kentucky because Mark Pope and his program have an identity crisis, and it does not get easier. I would argue Gonzaga is a better team than North Carolina, and now Kentucky's got to go play that game on Friday night in Nashville. So Kentucky's fans will show up in droves. They'll have the majority of the fans inside the building. But Gonzaga is a tougher opponent. They got to figure out what they can do. Jalen Lowe has had this shoulder issue. He did not return. There's no indication on when he will return. They didn't have Mo Diabate, did Kentucky last night. He's also a key interior presence. So was shorthanded, but also Carolina didn't have Seth Trimble, who's a key guard. And then you see how they have someone step up like Derek Dixon in the final moment. So Kentucky's got to get its offense in order. 1 of 13 from three-point range is the worst performance ever under Mark Pope. I still have faith that Kentucky will figure. I truly do believe if Jalen Lowe can eventually come back and be the point guard for this team, that Kentucky will figure it out and establish itself as a top 3 team in the SEC. But right now, there's no shortage of a few teams that have been disappointing. Kentucky has a case to be the most disappointing of any team so far this season.
Woof. The good news is the season is very early, so like you said, things can turn around. You mentioned injuries there. We got to talk about a big injury. Freshman star Darren Peterson for Kansas certainly could have been available, or not available, but used last night if he was available. He missed his 7th straight game with that hamstring injury. The Jayhawks then lose to UConn. How concerned are you with this situation with Peterson in Kansas, Matt?
Not yet, but if Peterson does not play this weekend, Sunday, against Missouri in the border war, you know, a traditionally very important rivalry game for Kansas and Missouri, former Big 12 mates and Big 8 mates before that, then I think we have something. I don't think we have anything yet. I did think that Peterson was going to play against UConn, but then again, I know Kansas was hopeful that Peterson might be able to play one game last week in Vegas at Players Era. That didn't happen. Bill Self said afterward he's at 95% on the recovery. He wants him at 100%. It is a hamstring. You don't want to mess with it. You want to make sure it's fully healthy so you don't risk further injury. I get all of that. If Peterson had been available against UConn, actually, I think that Kansas would have won the game, but he wasn't. So now we wait. Let's give it one more game. It seems like he is trending toward playing, but if he does not play on Sunday against Missouri, then I think we'll have a bigger topic, a bigger story, and more questions for Bill Self and Peterson to answer. But I'm going to trust that he's going to be on his way back, and we'll finally see him back in uniform by the end of the weekend.
Okay, something to watch as the weekend moves along. Let's get you set for the action tipping off tonight, starting with a top 25 matchup between number 6 Louisville and number 25 Arkansas. We've seen the ACC dominate the SEC in the challenge to this point. It's a stark difference from last year when the SEC, I felt like, couldn't lose a game ever. Starting with Louisville, they're off to their best 7-game start since the 1920 season. Arkansas, meanwhile, 1-8 against AP top 10s under Coach Cal. Do you think the Cardinals stay unbeaten, or do the Razorbacks gain some ground here for the SEC?
I'm going to say Arkansas will win this game. Now, Louisville has been very impressive and lived up to its preseason hype in terms of its offensive firepower. Ryan Conwell, a veteran and a transfer in from Xavier, in addition to Michael Brown Jr., one of the most talented freshmen in a loaded freshman class, have been awesome for Louisville. Big spot here. Arkansas needs to get this done in this spot. It has been a team, as you just referenced, Haley, under John Calipari, which we're still in the early stages of his tenure there, but still, last season when the SEC was loaded, Arkansas lost the majority of its games against ranked competition, whether in league or out of league. And so now you get a big-time game. This is the best matchup of Wednesday night after a really good Tuesday in the sport. Now we get another one. In fact, if you're curious on this, a quick little plug. I've got a court report feature, it's kind of a college hoops notebook up at CBSSports.com. And in that, I detail actually just how loaded the schedule has been for college basketball. In November, in December, we're going to see more non-conference ranked-on-ranked games this season than maybe we've ever seen. So it's been a great, great start for college hoops, and this game here is yet even more evidence of it. I think Arkansas will get it done, but I'll just tell you, if it doesn't, then John Calipari will be right alongside Mark Pope and his former school as some of the most disappointing teams to start the season, because there's no question about it. The Razorbacks have the talent to match Louisville and should win on their home campus here tonight on Wednesday.
I need to put a little bit more twang in my Louisville. I feel like I'm not saying it Louisville enough.
Just don't say Louisville.
Never
I
Louisville.
lived there when I was like 5.
I know that.
It was Louisville. Yeah, they get very. It's not Gonzaga. It's Gonzaga. It's
Yes.
not Louisville. It's Louisville. Let's just keep that in mind.
Louisville. I'm going to practice it for the next time we talk. I will mention Coach Cal is 19-7 all-time against Louisville, so he's got that going for him. Let's stay with the unbeatens for a moment here. Someone's got to lose their first game tonight between SMU and number 17 Vanderbilt. It's, of course, Vandy's highest ranking since the 15-16 season, but SMU has been an SEC slayer this season. They're led by a guy named Boopy Miller, which I'm kind of obsessed with here, and both of these teams average at over 90 points per game. So will defense be a factor in this one, or is it just who scores the most points?
We'll see. Actually, Haley, you were tapping into something I wrote in the preseason when I rank the top 101 teams. And in the SMU capsule, I had something along the lines of the fact that college basketball just have dudes that really matter who are named Boopy, and that's awesome. That's a selling point for the sport. So, yes, I do think this could be a race to 80-plus for sure. SMU trying to go to 9-0 for the first time since Larry Brown was coaching there a decade ago. Vandy has not been 9-0 since 07-08, so keep that in mind. And by the way, Vanderbilt, highest-ranked SEC team in predictive metrics right now. Yes, Vanderbilt, not Florida, not Kentucky, not Alabama, not Tennessee, not Arkansas. Vandy, Mark Byington, really good coach. Kind of an understated guy, but a smart coach. This is a really, it's a tasty, under-the-radar matchup. But the winner of this, by virtue of getting to 9-0, I think ups their profile all the more. And, yeah, quality team. I got to see more from SMU. Vandy's kind of proven it just a little bit more here, but both these teams still have yet to meet the heft of their schedule to this point.
All eyes on my boy Boopy, man. He's got to have a big one now because we talked about him. Let's talk about Indiana, off to a 7-0 start with their coach, Darren DeVries. By the way, round of applause for schools like Vanderbilt, Indiana. Their sports right now are off the charts. But specifically when it comes to the basketball, it just seems like DeVries has the Hoosiers really cooking right now. The number 22 team in the country. They've got a great point differential as well to this point. His son's on the team, and he's also hooping, averaging about 18 a game. How can they take advantage of a Minnesota team that's just really struggling early in the season?
Well, I want to see what the three-point shooting looks like tonight. This has been a team that has been much better and more reliable from three-point range than what we saw under Mike Woodson. There's also this is a league game, but they're on the road. We'll see how that goes. Louisville waits next for Indiana on CBS this weekend. That's yet another ranked-on-ranked matchup. So definitely worth just checking in and seeing, okay, Indiana going into an intra-league battle in the barn. Minnesota, first year in Nico Medved, not going to be an NCAA tournament team, but weird stuff can happen. Also, this is a league game, first week of December, kind of weird vibes there. We'll see. I don't know. But Indiana, definitely. The good news here is that in addition to your football team just blazing into the college football playoff, on the basketball side, to this point, you've been better than expected, but context is key here. Indiana is yet to face a top 50 opponent this season. So with that in mind, we'll see if they can get the job done here against Minnesota. And then the real test comes this weekend when Louisville comes to town.
Louisville comes to town. Matt Norlander, always good to check in with you, my friend. You can get more from Matt Norlander and his partner, Gary Parrish, on the Eye on College Basketball podcast. You heard him reference it earlier. Scan that QR code on your screen to get locked in. Also, check out Matt's article on CBSSports.com, getting you ready for a crazy finish to the non-conference slate in college basketball.